But anyway, I want to welcome, actually, it's his first time on the new Hometown Heroes. My good friend Joe Trainor is with us. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Mark. How are you, man? Good to hear your voice.
Likewise, sir. It's been quite a while, but it's definitely good to talk to you, my friend.
Indeed. How you been? Good?
I have been good, actually. In fact, I've been very good. How about you?
Hanging in there, just trying to stay busy, work our way through this thing.
If there's one word, well, there's many words I could use to describe you, and all good ones. The one I would say that is always near the top is busy. It seems like you always have your hand in like 5-10 different projects, and from the Facebook post I saw just today, I think it seems like you're doing that again.
Yeah, it's just in a different way. But yeah, 2020 was kind of quiet. I had a lot of things on deck that I had to, push aside. But then the second half of the year, I started focusing on this project. And, so that took up a wonderful amount of time. And then got involved in some other projects. It's just new worlds for me, just trying to do different things, keep myself occupied. And it's been fantastic.
And I hear your dog in the background.
Oh no, really, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I like dogs, but
Sarah Jane.
So now we have now the first song we're going to play is a long one, so we're not going to have time to fit everything in this break about the band. But could you give us kind of a thumbnail sketch of March is the name of the project, and it's sort of a new band, but sort of not at all new band for you, right?
Yeah, it was my first original band that I formed back in 1992, and this lineup played from 92 to 96. And we wrote a lot of songs, like 50 songs during that time. And we demoed them, and they sat in the archives for 25 years.
Wow.
So when we had the time, I was like, I really would love to share this material with people, but I don't love the way it sounds, so let's give it an upgrade. So Alan Trainor on bass and Doug Darrell on guitar and myself started submitting tracks to my other brother, Sean Trainor, who produced the whole record. And we're super proud of it, and we can't wait to release it on Tuesday.
So there's a lot of Trainor influence in this band, it sounds like.
There is. Doug is our adopted brother. But, Alan and Sean and I, it's nice to work with your brothers on a project. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, the name of the band is March. Now, I have to ask, why March? Is there a special meaning to that?
I think you'd have to ask Doug. I think it was inspired by the Michael Penn album of the same name.
Yeah, from the early 90s, late 80s. I forget somewhere.
Though we never did any Michael Penn, or were really hugely influenced by him as a group. It scanned nicely. It was a nice name, and it stuck. So that's what we used.
Okay. Well, now the first song we're going to play is called "I Can Walk," which I guess is officially the first single, right?
True.
Anything you want to tell us about this song?
It was a great collaboration between Sean and Doug and I. 25 years ago, before
right.
I'm still kind of blown away by the time gap involved and bringing these things into the present. It's kind of a lot of the songs back then were very fictitious based, whereas a lot of JT3 stuff was kind of more personal. And this was just kind of a nice. I think it was about warning signs. Just to be aware of your surroundings and watch out for what's coming is kind of the overall thrust of the tune, but it includes a couple of really nice samples from Dr. Strangelove, the film, and just had a lot of fun doing it.
I was going to ask about the samples, so you cut me off at the pass on that one. Very good. So from Dr. Strangelove. All right. We have plenty.
One of my favorites.
That's good. Well, we'll talk more about that after we play this song, because like I said, I want to get it in before the break we have to take here. So the song is called "I Can Walk." We're talking with Joe Trainor from the band March, and this is the debut single, 25 years later, Hometown Heroes on Delaware Public Media.
Across the words that mean nothing to you and me. Your problems are variously strung upon your every cross to help you sleep more easily. And time talks so silently to no one, and you claim you can't hear it all. increasingly on the alert. Deep sinking feelings are all that you feel. Replay the warning before the storm. Head for your shelter, 'cause the message is real. Resign when your image is torn. Restless endeavors will land you in jail. With tortured contestants who are destined to fail. I've seen enough just to let it all go. Tempting seductions were only for show. I'll dream of nothing while you scream for Rome. And I'll give you something to hold. When the darkness is getting too cold. And life will go on until all your possessions are sold. I've seen enough just to let it all go. Tempting seductions were only for show. I'll dream of nothing while you scream for Rome. And I'll give you something to hold. When the darkness is getting too cold. And I will walk on until all your possessions are sold.
You're listening to Hometown Heroes. Oops. Sorry about that. The end flourished there. You're listening to Hometown Heroes on Delaware Public Media. That is an epic song. That is the band March. The song is called I Can Walk, and we're going to be talking a little more with Joe Trainor in a few minutes about the band has an event coming up this week. We'll tell you about that and the album that is coming out. But that is the first single, again, from the band March. You can find them on Facebook. Just look for March and the word band, and that should get you there. Just brand new Facebook page from them, and you can keep up with them there. Well, we have a very eclectic musician we're talking to right now. Mr. Joe Trainor is with us. Hello, Joe.
Hey, Mark.
So we heard the one song here. Now, is it safe to say that we can call you guys a prog rock band, or is that oversimplifying it?
There are prog elements on this record.
Okay.
But I don't think that, labels are so.
Yeah, I know.
2000. No, but no, there's 4 or 5 songs that could easily be considered prog rock,
yeah.
But there's a lot of single, radio friendly, shorter songs on this record as well. The one thing I love about it is it's influenced by so many different things, so it's pretty eclectic, I think.
Joe, I was listening, and this is Greg, by the way. When I was listening to it, I just thought to myself, in 1995, 1996, you're writing these demos. When you go to revisit them, how much rewriting goes into that process, and how much of what you've learned in music over the past 20 years in that room with everybody else went to bring it home to, into one album? Like, how'd that work?
I think when you're revisiting songs that you've already demoed, you have to fight through what's called demoitis, where if you make a really good demo, you just want to remake that demo better. Mm-hmm. I think we fought some of that because we were really proud with with the work we put into those original demos. So we wanted to make sure that the elements that we liked from the originals were in the current, but updated. But it's impossible to not let 25 years of experience come into play. But that being said, very little was changed. I changed a couple of lyrics in one song on the record because I felt they were dated, and we played with the arrangements. You know, we updated some sounds, and the playing is just better than it was then. But I mean, I think if you listen to the original demos against the album, you see probably more similarities in the approach to the recording than differences.
Okay. And then, I guess maybe one of your band members there wanted to know why Sweet Home Alabama is your favorite song.
I knew we were going to waste time on this question. Doug. So we used to play this bar down in Newark, and it was kind of it was a heavier bar. It was like a biker bar. It liked its classic rock. So when we're rolling in there with 10-minute prog rock pieces, they weren't digging it so much. And yeah, there was a call for some Skynyrd, but we resisted.
Okay.
Good for you. So.
Not that I don't like Skynyrd, just that's not what we were there to do.
Yeah. No Freebird, nothing there.
Negative.
See, that's worse than people calling me Mr. Rogers, people that shout out Freebird.
Oh, God, I hate that.
Oh, my gosh.
I hate it.
It's funny, Mark, because I have called you Mr. Rogers on several occasions, and you have always been like, it's Mark. It's Mark.
Yep.
And I've never connected that's why you wouldn't want to be called that.
Now you know.
And I'm sitting here in the studio, Joe, and sometimes he just throws his shoe up in the air and catches it, and I'm like, I don't know why he has this hate for it. I mean,
and I wear sweaters.
He's a nice guy.
Where's the trolley? Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, back to the music here.
Back to Make Believe Land.
So now the album is being released this week, right?
Yeah, it's being released on Tuesday. Since we don't have any shows lined up because we're still in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
And this is really kind of a studio project. We're kind of thinking about what this might look like live, but we haven't gotten there yet. So we're not releasing any physical copies. So It's for purchase. It's a pay-what-you-want purchase situation on Bandcamp.
Right.
Starting Tuesday morning. And then at 7 o'clock that night, we're having a streaming event.
And with streaming event on Facebook or YouTube or...
It'll be on Facebook, but it's being hosted on YouTube.
Okay.
It's going to be the entire album. I went ahead. I took it to a different level, more than just here's the album being played. I created an entire video album for the record, so that people, because it's hard to digest new music,
right?
Especially like a full album in one sitting, unless you're already a fan of that band. So I wanted to give anybody who does tune in something visually to keep them engaged. All the lyrics are up there, but then I had a lot of fun editing together a ton of visuals that kind of interplay and correspond to what's going on in the music. And for me, that was an additional artistic project for the album that I didn't anticipate when we set out, but something I put together in the last couple months, gearing up for the release. So I'm looking forward to everybody getting to check that out.
All right, cool. And let's see. So I'm sorry, you said that's happening when?
7 o'clock on YouTube. You can either find a link on the March/band Facebook page or on my Facebook page. And I'm hosting it on my YouTube channel, which is just Joe Trainor. So, it should be pretty easy to find for anybody who's curious.
All right, very good. Now, I'm curious now. Well, but before I move on here, I want to make sure, is there anything else that you want us to know about March or about the song that we're going to play in a few minutes here, which is called For Freedom?
Well, it's funny. This is a song that is obviously of its time. So while there were prog elements involved, and there's some longer songs like On the Riverside and One Million Men on the record, some of the shorter songs are influenced by the time. So this would probably be one of those songs. It's heavier, but it's kind of influenced by the alternative movement. It's a much heavier song than most people have heard me do, since probably X-Fusion. But and that's part of what I love about this record is it's very different for a lot of people who might know projects I've been involved with.
Right.
Lyrically, it's honestly it's inspired by court TV, which was all the rage in the early 90s between the Menendez brothers and the OJ trial and all these things. So it was about, how the justice system had become, public fodder and just, something for the masses to ingest.
Very interesting. And Caleb has a question.
Hey, Mr. Trainor.
Hello.
Hey, I would really like to know, what does your writing process look like when writing a song?
Every artist is going to give you a different answer, and the first thing they're going to say is, I don't know. Songs tend to fall out of the air for most songwriters. You don't know when you sit down with the guitar or the piano what your first chord is going to be or where it's going to take you. I tend to start with music. If I can come up with a progression that I think is interesting or inspiring, and then I will come up with a melody. And usually lyrics right off the bat, because if I don't have something to say in that moment, I abandon the process. I've probably thrown out more ideas than I've kept because I just couldn't get past the first line. But songwriting for me happens instantaneously. When I start, I have to finish that song because it's a moment in time. So I feel like the song has captured that moment in time. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Caleb. So, All right. Now, so before we play the song here, I wanted to give you a couple minutes here. Since you are involved in so many projects, did you want to give any plugs or shout outs to any of the other things that you have in the works?
I wasn't prepared for that.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I am working on, check out City Theater Company's Facebook pages. We've been posting interviews with people involved with City Theater and the arts. That's been a very illuminating series to work on. Fearless Improv has got some stuff going on that I'm helping them with.
Okay.
I'm working with Drama Kids, which is a local adolescent theater company, and we're doing an online version of Shrek in April.
Cool.
I think it's April 17th. I'm helping them edit and that footage together. So that's some of the stuff I've been involved with. But before we go, there's two things. I just wanted to thank Doug Darrell, the guitar player, and Alan Trainor, the bass player. Without them, none of this would be possible. I'm so glad that they agreed to revisit this stuff and help us create this record. But the MVP in this is absolutely Sean Trainor, who has spent an incredible amount of time mixing and pulling this record together. And it's just, I've been wanting to do something for years with this material, and to finally be able to release it is amazing. Yeah, and it's made up for this, crappy year we've all had for me, is to be able to present this. So thanks to them, and thanks to anybody who supports it. I appreciate it.
Excellent. I look forward to hearing the full album here. So, well, Joe, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's always great talking to you, and hopefully you will be back to live shows in the not too distant future.
I hope so too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Joe Trainor. The band is called March. This song is called For Freedom. You're listening to Hometown Heroes on Delaware Public Media.